As I say, and now for something completely different, I'm going to talk about kite photography with the Raspberry Pi. The Raspberry Pi is a teeny tiny computer that I have on here with a couple of little sensors on top of it. And I'll include I'll talk to the Perl code. It's very teeny tiny, but it's sort of a fun hobby that I've been doing. So we're in DC, and I saw the UAV trend coming, and I was like, I want to do that. And then the FAA said, no, you can't. So instead, I've been sort of trying to find a way of doing something like that. It's a challenging, fun little hobby. This was me as a kid, and that's me a couple of years ago. And you take basically a package of sensors. So you have the computer on the lower left, camera on the upper right, and a little power supply. Connect it together, you put it up on a kite, which is the middle photo, and then via cron job, you essentially take photos of the ground. All information is available, by the way, online at kite.zachary.info. And that actually has a pointer to the GitHub page and all that fun stuff. So, yeah, I was thinking of flying a drone inside DC. If I want to keep my job, I can't really fly a drone within the red zone, which is actually where we are right now. We would have to essentially drive south for about 45 minutes to an hour, depending on traffic, to actually fly a drone. So that's a little hard to do on the weekend. However, one of the things that the FAA does allow is kites. So that's how I started this whole thing. And actually, they're actually encouraging you to bring kites within the DC area. So basically, this sounds like a job for a tiny computer. The Raspberry Pi A Plus is a small $25 computer running Linux. You take a little camera, power pack, add some stuff to the kite, all the stuff that you would think of, and you start taking photos. So you can actually see on the left here how 5 years ago I started with basically a piece of cardboard, drilled some things into the hole, and magically everything worked. I lost that one in the ocean. So on the second version, you see I added the if found, please call sign. And then I went away from the acrylic platform because the one on the center actually sort of broke into a million pieces when it hit the ground hard. So I then tried a papercraft one, which unfortunately it's not as sturdy as I would have thought it would have been. But so anyway, so then I tried the very last one, which is the current one that I have here, which is a little piece of wood. And essentially what happens is, as the kite line goes up, this will sort of just go up with it because it's like super light. And it will start taking photos of the ground. So I wrote two pieces of code, Python and Perl. The reason why I wrote Python instead of Perl, and I realize that this is a Perl conference, is that the Raspberry Pi has a large Python code base, just natively. So I basically learned how to do Python. It's similar concepts. I mean, if you can do Perl 6, you can definitely do Python. So what the Python code does is basically, there is something called a sense hat, which has a accelerometer built in. So you can sort of check to see when it's shaking, and when it is just sort of stable in flight, it's like, oh, I'm not shaking, and it takes a photo. So magically it all works. The Perl code, I'm using that on startup to see if there's a USB drive attached to the Raspberry Pi, and if it does, it copies all the files over and then exits. So it works. And the code is available under MIT license. Not really something super practical for the Perl conference, but it is a lot of fun.